spot, so that Carlos and Thomas can look really good to their constituents, and being able to take the AI as an insights engine or agent on top of it in order to provide that real-time transcription, the actions, the notes. I mean, imagine thousands of people engaging, in a video call. At the end of the day, there are so many things that get said, and you have to have the ability to synthesize the sentiment and the tone of what's going on out there. So really exciting times for video ahead. I really don't think that it's as good enough or just to me it's ripe for innovation.
Yeah, and I think to go along with that, when it comes to video, it's not just video anymore, as you mentioned, it's about the full engagement with the meeting. So in the room, you can have the in-room participants raise their hand, see the chat, be able to interact with the meeting, not just see who's in the meeting, right? Because it goes well beyond just the video experience. So for us, being able to do that at a good cost price point, I guess, is critical, because before, you may recall that boardrooms had a video system, but that was it, because each video system costs $80,000 or more in some cases, because you want to control the blinds and control the lighting and all these really complicated solutions that are really not necessary in most cases. We're able to implement room systems at a much lower price point, which is important for, like you say, Tom, to enable all of the rooms to have video capabilities, and not just video capabilities, but AI-driven capabilities. Like speaker attribution, for example, is one feature that we're very excited about, because as you have Copilot or Zoom AI or any of these other AI tools, being able to know exactly who said something in the room is so critical for those notes that AI is taking and those follow-ups, action items. So speaker attribution is one feature that we're looking forward to in our room systems, because it'll allow us to be much more effective with our AI investment. So that's one area that we're seeing a lot of growth right now.
Andrew? Maybe I'll just make a couple of quick points. Like maybe I'm a very fundamentals kind of guy, and I think building on what Tom said, I think there's still a big opportunity to make sure when people walk into a meeting room that room is functional. And your microphones are working, cameras working, because there's nothing more frustrating than trying to fumble around with things to get things going. And I think there's an opportunity to leverage some of the agentic creator developments to actually make these room companions that can actually auto-heal room systems. Okay, that's one opportunity. The other thing I also see is, I think there is a certain amount of reimagining we need to do if you fast forward maybe even just a few months, where agents are attending meetings on your behalf. How do those agents render themselves? What is the video experience there? And when will the agent bring the human into the meeting? Because maybe there's an hour meeting, I'm only needed for 5 minutes. I can attend an agent, I can have an agent attend the meeting still when I'm needed to join the meeting, and it just helps my productivity. And our studies that we've done in terms of kind of envisioning the future of work clearly points to people in the meeting prefer an agent, because the agent is acting on their behalf, it's got access to my own knowledge base, as opposed to me sending a delegate. So there's like these interesting, I think, nuances that we have to navigate through in terms of the next gen of meeting experiences. And then lastly, I would say that the opportunities that multimodal AI unlocks can be pretty game-changing as well, particularly when you think about B2C interactions and how that gets rendered on our little phones or laptops to kind of interact with the customer to make sure that they are getting the right experience. Is again, there's a lot of, I think, opportunity there in terms of boosting productivity for our customers. So, from a video quality perspective, I think that's like, we are thinking about it very simply, but just into the future, I think things like avatars and, virtual reality or augmented reality is going to start playing up mainstream as well.
Okay. Well, I want to pick up, Mahendra, you mentioned the kind of agentic bots, the kind of the whole maybe next generation of the AI-aided collaboration. But maybe take us back a step and just talk about what people are starting to experiment with and doing right now, which seems to be focused on the meeting summaries, the transcripts, the notes, the kind of very productivity-oriented tools, and just get a sense from everybody of kind of like how is that going, or how is that working the way it's supposed to, or the way that people have wanted it to? Is it causing people to go to fewer meetings? Is it saving them time? Is it saving time in a way that the enterprise can quantify and capture the time? And how do we sort of gauge how successful that first tier of AI enablement is? And I'll start with Mahendra.
Yeah, that's a great question, Eric. Like, I think, when I talk to our customers, the way we attend meetings has actually changed very subtly, but over the last 6 months, 9 months, we actually are seeing a change in behavior in terms of how our customers attend meetings. For example, even before joining a meeting, I actually ask Copilot, hey, what should I expect in this meeting? What is top of mind for this person? What is top of mind for that person? What was the outcome from the last meeting? So it just helps me get into, the right frame of mind to have a productive conversation, and much more, actually I talked about personalization. It gives me that, my Copilot gives me that personal summary of what to expect in the meeting. So that's one shift in behavior that we've seen that can actually, that's a massive productivity booster. It's hard to put, a dollar amount or minutes against it, but in terms of the effectiveness of the meeting, which should be the ultimate metric. We need to be thinking about, I think more meetings is not a great metric. Shorter meetings, meetings that have good outcomes is a great thing. The other thing we also see is the structure that, with clear agenda or goal setting, and having the agent, like we talked about, like we at Microsoft Ignite, we announced our facilitator agent, where the agent is able to kind of slowly nudge people to stay on track, make sure that the agenda items are getting covered. And it's almost like you want to be careful about how intrusive you want this agent to be, because it can be annoying or frustrating, to a lot of high-powered individuals in the meeting, about an agent telling them what to do. But I think there is subtle ways in terms of imagining the user interface and the interaction model where the agents can actually help the participants of the meeting navigate through complex topics, taking summaries. We are seeing great benefit, and we are doing some studies to be able to quantify some of these things, which I think people appreciate. But the opportunities are a lot more. So.
Actually, I want to go to Tom, because I saw you nodding at some of the points Mahendra made. How would you pick up on that, or where are you seeing the value?
Less meetings has not necessarily been our goal, but more effective meetings has absolutely been the goal, and I think that we've achieved a lot of that. I think about a meeting that I had a couple weeks ago with someone who did not have a Copilot or an AI agent of any time. And we kind of spent the last 8 minutes of that meeting just recapping meeting notes and next steps and next agenda, and I was sitting there like wanting to tear my hair out, because I'm like, this is like, we're just sitting here talking about the things that we've already talked about for the past 25 minutes, and we're talking about it again, and like, it made me think about the fact that my workflow has changed so much in a short amount of time, that like, something that used to be commonplace for us, like recapping next steps, is a thing of the past for me. I don't want to do that during the meeting anymore, because it's right there for us. Much more productive outcomes from meetings. People are coming to meetings more prepared. People are leaving meetings more informed, which drives more effective next steps, because people know what they need to do coming out of that meeting, and there's not as much back and forth. Also, I've seen it during meetings where you don't necessarily need to pull in an SME if you can just do like a quick, AI search on the side, like a topic of, where is this certain thing stored, in the environment, and let me just do a quick Copilot search. Okay, now I don't need to go, wait 5 minutes for an engineer to respond to me. We can keep moving forward and keep the conversation going. So we've seen a lot of efficiencies gained in that space, and that's driven real quantifiable business value from our perspective in terms of productivity.
Actually,
Yeah, I think the validation is right here. I think it's so much to do with the need for less meetings or more effective meetings has so much to do with discipline as much as it has to do with the technology and the AI. And I think that to me, the AI and the tech that comes with it is only as good as the discipline you put in using it. For us, the question before every meeting, Ring Central AI Assistant, have you gone through it? Have you seen what was talked about last time? What were the action items? Have you actually bothered to read what we already talked about? And what you find, and I think Jeff Bezos probably figured this out before many of us, is things become so much clearer once you write them down. And in this case, the AI writes them down. You go read through it, and many a times it's, do I really need another meeting to talk about this? I can go run my own searches and get the answers to these questions that can save everyone an hour of their time. That does happen, or you get to the root of what you need to go solve in that meeting itself. So I think it's fairly effective as long as you put the discipline behind it. You show up in a meeting with only half the people actually bother to read, then you end up in a situation Tom's talked about, pretty frustrating for everybody. Definite shift happening in the effectivity of the meetings. I will echo that. That's what we hear from our customers.
Carlos, I want you. We've now heard that a couple times. Train the users, discipline. What have you found about making that a reality? Actually,
it's definitely been a game changer for me personally, because I lead a team that focuses on project implementations across the company. So I get invited to a lot of project status meetings. A lot of times they're conflicting, and I can actually follow the meeting using Microsoft Copilot, and it'll just give me a summary at the end. It doesn't take a lot of participation from my team, so I can actually keep up with a lot more meetings because I don't need to actually attend the meeting. I can just follow what's going on in the meeting and look at action items, etc. So that's been a big game changer for me and my team. We decided to actually grant a Copilot license to all of our PMs across the company, because it saves them a lot of time when they're leading a meeting and they don't have to focus on taking notes. They can focus on leading the conversation, and then AI takes care of the notes and action items. I do agree with some of the comments earlier about actionable information, though. I think that is the next step, is to actually make it actionable and assign the task to individuals who are given action items in that meeting, because that's something that is sort of missing right now, is you're sending the notes and it has the action items, but it's actually not assigning those tasks to those individuals and following up with them to make sure that those tasks get done within the appropriate timeline. So I think that's maybe the next iteration of that agent that we've been talking about. But I know for us, the ability to follow meetings and get those automated meeting summaries, it's saved a lot of time, and it's allowed us to cover more ground, I guess, with fewer resources.
Then Graham,
maybe a couple of things that I'll add. So one, I think that Zoom AI Companion is helping our customers in how they prepare and have more effective meetings, both before, during, and after. I do think that there are benefits in terms of, I think to the comment that we made, of less meetings. So we have customers that have status meeting and status check meetings, and there's a lot of times that you might have 30 people in a meeting, but only 5 actively participating, and the rest are there, really out of FOMO, and they just want to be informed. And so that's where the value unlock is having those summaries, action items, tasks assigned, so that I know that I can not attend this meeting yet still be informed. So there is productivity unlocked there. I think one of the areas that is a kind of differentiated value is we believe to democratize access to these. So it shouldn't be who has a license and who doesn't. So Zoom AI Companion is included for all customers that have a Zoom entitlement. So, and that's really what's afforded some of these benefits, where you can have these agentic capabilities, you can have this companion across the entire enterprise. I don't have to worry about, does Bob PM have a license or not? Right? Is he going to get the summary or not? And that's really reduced the burden from an IT perspective of deciding, who gets what, can I afford to pay for it? So when we think about, how do we truly democratize access to this, it's really making sure that everybody has these really powerful capabilities.
Is Copilot getting that for you?
Yes. I know Graham's taking the chat with me there, but I'll get to it.
you got probably your last question.
Mahendra, you started on this when talking about how you could have an agent go to the meetings for you and set up all that. And I thought, well, maybe I'll start with Graham to talk about kind of the future of what that is, because the idea that you can have an agent of yours go to a meeting for you, come back and report back, and just think about how much time you saved, and your agent talking to someone else's agent. But I'll let you jump into your thoughts about the future of that. And when will this all happen?
Yeah, so I think this is very much the future. I think the vendors that are here on the panel would all very much agree in that. I think in my first comment, I mentioned there are some things that have to happen in order for that. So number one is memory, reasoning, orchestration is really important. I don't want to have to deal with 10,000 different agents, right? And then I'm the bottleneck. So I truly want a companion agent, which is the reason why we have it called Zoom AI Companion, where I have a single agent or single companion that can do the orchestration for me. And then that next step being the agentic reasoning action taking, where it can actually not just take the notes, right? We're moving into Zoom tasks, which we have, which assigns the tasks out to the various people that get those, but then also keeping me in the loop, but actually going into a system of action where it says, hey, do you want me to go ahead and file this Jira ticket? Do you want me to go ahead and complete this in ServiceNow? So we are actually, we've already announced integrations between our agentic framework and companies like ServiceNow AI. And so the future where our AI agents are actually brokering these interactions on our behalf and completing these tasks, this isn't in the distant future, this is in the here and now.
I think where we're on the vendor side of things, we might as well tell what maybe is going on with Ring Central in this space.
Look, to me the future is here, and there's obviously going to be an evolution, but I'm not going to steal Kira's thunder. Our president and CEO will be speaking about this tomorrow, but having an AI receptionist, being able to take your calls, take those actions, be able to flag the right information for the customer. In my opinion, there is going to be an evolution of this to where, and along the lines of where, Graham, you were going with this is, there will be bots and agents for every task, and there will be an orchestration or an integration into the other bots. How well, and interoperability is a term that I think was brought up earlier, how well we operate with each other will actually be a pretty big component of this. Because going back to the customer and the customer benefit, they are not going to see the value in just one bot or even the services for them. The use cases are super critical. And as we're learning with our AI receptionist, once you get the use case down, that is your use case, but then that use case is dependent on, other bots, maybe a Salesforce dip is needed, maybe a Zoom dip is needed, Microsoft dip is needed. And at the end of the day, to present that information both quickly, accurately, and in a way that's actionable is where we are headed along this journey. So a very similar sentiment, but it will evolve. It will evolve further to what the customers need.
Mahendra, any follow-up, because you made some comments already, anything additional you'd like to add to that?
I think it's extremely aligned with what Graham and Akshay just said. But one thing that I would actually perhaps add, since we have our customers and audience and like partners and other vendors as well, is I think AI shines a spotlight on having very strong data governance. Being sensitive to data leakage, making sure that data that's available to a subset of people in enterprise is not made available to others. That's something that we spend a lot of energy on, because ultimately, customer trust is paramount to our success. And if we slip and then it kind of erodes the trust, it's going to be like, it takes a long time rebuilding the trust. And the other thing I would say is, if you think about Copilot, we were very intentional with the choice of the word Copilot. We want to make sure in everything that we do with AI and the agentic framework that we keep humans in the loop. We provide the right oversight mechanism for humans to validate what's happening and then create that feedback loop so you can actually make these systems much smarter. If they are kind of like veering off course a little bit because of that's what the data told the agent to do, how do you teach it and how do you course correct it and build a memory for the agent so it does it the right way? So there is, like I think, and being interoperable is absolutely going to be key because our customers operate in diverse environments, and I think it's almost a non-negotiable. But I think there's going to be a lot of learnings over the next, several months, years, as we put all these systems together. And you can envision a world where you have millions of agents doing all kinds of tasks. And what is the governance model for agents? And what's the accountability model for agents? And there'll be some learnings that we'll have collectively as a community, as an industry, as we go along.
Great. Carlos, we've got a little bit of time left.
Sure, I think governance is very important. At our organization, we actually created an AI governance committee, and we have a chief AI officer now, which is maybe unusual for a healthcare company, but we are so heavily invested in AI, both in the collaboration space and the clinical space, that is really important for us to create those guardrails, right? Because to your point of data leakage and being careful about what data is exposed to AI, we have been migrating, for example, our legacy file shares into Microsoft SharePoint and Teams, and that has created a lot of opportunities for AI to view data that maybe it wasn't supposed to view because of permissions, structuring, etc. So I think it's really important to create a governance process, both for granting people access to AI, but also to govern the different policies and procedures that are built around that. So governance has been a critical area for us.
Great, thanks. Tom, maybe then close us out here.
Governance, reliability, and security are, from financial services perspective, it's, of paramount importance. We've designed our AI in a way that we're only pulling from our internal sources, and we have made the move already prior to going to Copilot to, utilizing OneDrive and SharePoint for a lot of our data. So making sure that when we're using AI agents, that it's only going after our information, that our information is secured in a way that's that's thoughtful and reliable. It's truly the most important thing to us in the financial services space.
All right, well, that takes us right about to the end of our time. Timed perfectly. I think we heard a lot of common themes here around, the great potential that's already starting to be fulfilled with AI, but a lot of caution, or a lot of at least advice around training, around discipline, security, compliance, guardrails. Those are problems that probably they don't inherently get solved. Certainly things like governance and security are an ongoing thing. So clearly this panel, everybody on it sees a lot of promise in where the technology is going, but still a lot of work to be done, in enterprise by enterprise, to make sure that you kind of get it right. So I'd like to thank this panel for starting us off with a great discussion, and we'll see everybody here after lunch at 1 o'clock for another panel like this. So thank you everybody very much.
They go at lunch, we can go to the lunch.
We're not supposed to. You can see what, you know what I mean? But they have another talk at 1.
But nothing in between.
Now it's lunch. It's 12. We can go look at where the lunch is.
Okay.
And my guess is,
You see anybody you know?
no. Somebody asked me what, I look like a musician. Somebody asked me, what's the password for the Wi-Fi?
Right. You are?
What did you hear what they were saying?
What?
Same stuff.
What?
Same stuff that you were talking about.
Like what?
Those agents, they just don't know how to apply it. And they don't talk about it. People have resistance. They still think it's going to take away their jobs.
We're doing it all the time and all.
Okay.
Let's go over there.
Huh?
Let's see what's going on. And then we can go to the hotel.
Fine.
So you see how many people, this is where they are, all with suit jackets,
Salesman.
marketing, whatever.
Primarily salesmen, and the rest are AV support. Installers and
Right. But they have a lot of people. Are you surprised?
so many more men than females.
You want to go for where they have the
Let me
lunch?
drink some water. This water you can get here. I'm so thirsty.
It's from the,
From the jacuzzi.
it's from the, it's
From the bath.
and also the locks.
Yeah, right, the fish.
You go
Take
everywhere.
water. Oh, they have a place for photographers.
Look what the people look like. It's like the group of ugly people.
A group of bugs.
Yeah. Look at what everybody looks like.
Feeling like shit.
You stop feeling like shit.
Yeah.
Look at this one.
Subtle art of not giving a fuck. Unfuck yourself. Fuck no. What does it mean, all of this?
I think it means
All
like,
the fuck stuff.
it's like what you feel like saying, but nobody ever says that. So a lot of books on this.
Like fuck no. Get your shit together. Which is what I told you and you got upset.
And this one.
Really,
Look at this one.
let that shit go.
You can get AI to write all these books now for you. You know?
Yes, this is popular. I don't know what it entails. It just came out. Once it comes this one.
What's the most popular?
I think that's one of the reasons. It's just that it's been
What's the most popular one? What's the most popular?
I'm sorry?
Ask
Can you
again.
ask him, please?
What's the most popular book in town? People are looking
It just depends. Like,
right here.
But
Yeah.
you don't see a trend?
well, probably right now the Spaceman because he's doing book signing today. So that's probably the most hands down most popular right now. But as for everything, I mean, there's just a whole bunch of different ones that people are going for.
Among these fuck ones,
What's that?
can you ask him, please? Among this category here.
How to stop feeling like shit, what is this whole series?
Oh, that's just self-help books and things like that. Yeah.
Among them, which one is the most popular?
Oh, this one by far.
Self-art.
In between these two. Why? Probably just because it's like it states the obvious, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? It's just very blunt, can't grasp people's attention. So, like, for instance, there's a part in this book where they're like, you know, he says maybe one person in your whole life, let me start over. He basically says that probably once in your lifetime you'll do something that changes the world in the course of history, or definitely gets you remembered for a long time. Is that one big thing are you doing right now? And if not, then why
do it?
Why dread it so much? You know, like, why, you know, just move on, you know? Yeah.
Then like get it in perspective.
Exactly. Exactly.
Thank you.
Of course, sir. Enjoy.
You see, they don't understand. Why not? Why not? He does. I asked again and he again didn't understand. You don't see that. You're all the time afraid of what I say. You don't have to worry about it. You don't understand it. It's like you're talking to them in Hebrew. They think that you're talking in English, and they don't. Once they hear the tone of you, they shut off the ears. Probably serve the lunch there. Look at what?
There's like a table and a lawn.
Where's the table?
Oh, it's just a podcast.
Oh, these women over there?
This is just registration. Another place for registration.
Forecast, it says on the table.
It says podcast.
Oh, podcast. I couldn't read one. Look how nice this bushes.
Yeah.
They put them together so nice. So they have a bamboo in the middle, keeps them upright. Otherwise they fall. What would you like to do now?
Go downstairs. Go to the hotel and find maybe a room in the hotel.
I think on Wednesday it will be a lot easier to find empty places. They reserve rooms and then early in the day they finish the affair and go home and the room remains empty. You know what I mean?
To go to the hotel. You want to go to the hotel?
Whatever you like. I watch the camera, man. Wherever they go, there must be interesting thing going on. You want to go to the hotel? Let's see. I remember going this way many times, back and forth. I think they were hosting the money shows.
It was this show.
Oh, this show? Okay. Your hands are so cold. You see, there are all kinds of... oh, these are restaurants. Oh, that is great. Wow. It's huge. So let's go down. We can stand outside a little bit and see what's, even if we don't eat anything.
Let's go down to the first floor. Over there.
We can sit in the chairs there.
Yeah, right.
So beautiful. Wow.
Yeah, let's go downstairs.